For anyone who grew up in the 80s and 90s, The Predator is unforgettable. That thermal vision, that clicking sound in the jungle, the moment Dutch covers himself in mud and disappears into the darkness, and the Predator walks right past him. Something you'd never seen in a film before. And the whole time, without ever saying it out loud, a question was forming. One the movie planted, but never answered. Why those men? Why then? The film never told you. But the comics did. And what they reveal reframes every single scene you thought you understood. In the years after the film, Dark Horse Comics and the expanded Predator universe began filling in what the movie never explained. The species, the culture, the code. In those comics, the Predator makes one thing clear. It follows a code, and that code is simple. Only those who can fight back deserve to be hunted. Once you see it, you won't see a monster anymore. You'll see a judge. The Predator's species are hunters, but not the way we use that word. For them, the hunt is about honor, a system of laws that governs who you can kill, how, and what it means when you do. The code is simple. You do not hunt the innocent, the unarmed, the weak. You only hunt those who can fight back, because only that kill carries honor. The comics describe a species that has been doing this for centuries. Longer than most human civilizations have existed. They don't hunt for food. They don't hunt for territory. They hunt because the hunt is the measure of a life well lived. An unblooded hunter, one who has never taken worthy prey, has no status, no name, nothing. The hunt is the only currency that matters. On the surface, a monster. On the inside, a moral framework most humans couldn't live up to. Back to the film, and 5 moments hidden in plain sight that prove every word of this. The first, Dutch's team lands in the jungle. There's Anna, a guerrilla prisoner. Unarmed, zip-tied, completely vulnerable. The Predator doesn't touch her. Not once in the entire film. Even when she's completely alone in the jungle. Even when killing her would have taken 2 seconds. It walks past her, ignores her entirely. Because, by the code, she doesn't qualify. She's not a hunter, not armed, not a challenge. Killing her would have been dishonorable, not a victory, an embarrassment. The second, now look at the men it does kill. Hawkins, Blaine, Mac, Dylan, Poncho. Every single one, a trained soldier. Armed, dangerous. Men who entered that jungle with the explicit purpose of taking lives. Men who were, by the Predator's definition, exactly the kind of prey the hunt was designed for. This wasn't random. This was a selection process. The third. But there was one problem the Predator didn't anticipate. Dutch wasn't like the others. By the end of the film, every man on the team is dead. Just Dutch. And what does the Predator do? It takes off its mask, its weapons, its technology, every single advantage it had, and faces Dutch with nothing but its physical strength. For decades, people have called that moment arrogance, overconfidence, a mistake. It wasn't any of those things. It was respect. The Predator watched Dutch survive when everyone else died. Watched him build traps from scratch. Fight back with nothing. And in doing that, Dutch had earned something. He wasn't prey anymore. He was a warrior, and to kill a warrior with a technological advantage would have been dishonorable, a hollow victory, worthless. Think about what that required, to strip yourself of every advantage, in a jungle you don't know, against an opponent who just outsmarted an entire trained military unit. That's not overconfidence. That's commitment to a principle that runs deeper than self-preservation. That's not the logic of a monster. That's the logic of someone who takes the rules so seriously they're willing to put themselves at a disadvantage to follow them. The Predator chose to be fair. The fourth, Dutch wins. The trap lands. The Predator is beaten, broken on the ground, and instead of surrendering, it chooses to die. Read it through the code, and it means something else entirely. It does not allow itself to be captured, does not submit, does not give the enemy the satisfaction of a trophy. Death, chosen death, is preferable to the dishonor of captivity. This wasn't revenge. This wasn't malice. This was dignity. If this is already changing how you see this film, subscribe. Every week we go back to a story you thought you knew and show you what was really happening beneath the surface. Now, back to the Predator, the fifth. Right before activating the device, the Predator looks at Dutch, beaten, bleeding, barely standing, and it laughs. That laugh isn't even the Predator's own. It's Billy's. The Predator recorded it earlier, when it was watching, silent in the canopy, while Dutch's team didn't know they were being studied. It chose that sound, in that moment, for Dutch. Make of that what you will. I know what you're thinking. What about predators? 2010. They hunted criminals, a cartel enforcer, a death row inmate. But look closer. Every person selected had a demonstrated capacity for lethal violence. By the code's logic, they still qualified. The code evolved. The core never changed. After going back through every frame of this film and every page of these comics, here's what's impossible to ignore. A civilization with a code of honor older than any human law. It spared the innocent, hunted only the worthy, gave its strongest opponent a fair fight, and when it lost, chose death over surrender. We called it a monster because it hunted us. But by the only moral framework it ever operated under, it was more disciplined, more principled, and more honorable than the men it was hunting. That doesn't make what it did right. Someone still died. But it forces the real question, the one this film was always secretly asking. Does a code of honor make violence justified? And who gets to decide what counts as a fair fight? That question has no easy answer, and I want to know where you land. Drop it in the comments below. If this changed how you see the Predator, share it with someone who grew up with the film. And if you want to see the hidden truth behind another creature Hollywood called pure evil, hit subscribe. Because the next video is about a villain that terrified an entire generation of kids. And what was hidden in the source material is darker than anything you ever saw on Saturday morning. See you then.